History starts here. You are taking a live look at CPKC Stadium as we are officially just one sleep away from the NWSL Championship. The Orlando Pride will take on the Washington Spirit Saturday night. Kickoff is set for 7 p.m. and you can watch it all right here on KCTV5. I want to thank you so much for joining me here at the live desk. I am Janae Hancock. I want to bring you some news that we just received not too long ago. Turning to the social media platform X, you can see that now here on your screen, coming in from the KC Current. And if you have our KCTV5 app, you may have gotten the push alert, but you can see Timwa Chawinga. She is now the NWSL MVP. I want to read you a few of the stats that they put here on the description. First to score 20 goals in a single season, first to score a goal in 8 consecutive matches, and first to score on all 13 active teams in a single season. So that's just a few, but a huge congratulations to the KC Current and of course Timwa Chawinga. Such a huge accomplishment there, and really it just adds to the excitement that's already building in the Kansas City community today and as we go into the weekend, looking ahead to the championship match. I was listening to KCTV5's Carolina Cruz on our 9 a.m. show, My KC Live, not too long ago, and she said even though the KC Current is unfortunately not going to play tomorrow night, we still won because we have the championship game that will be taking place in our city. Such a huge national spotlight. CBS Mornings was here earlier this morning, and our coverage is really just getting started. But touching on the excitement that is building in Kansas City, take a look at your screen. If you are heading out to the game, there is plenty of fun for fans leading up to it. The event, you're taking a look at a graphic right now, but the event you don't want to miss is the Fan Fest starting tomorrow at 4. It'll be right outside of CPKC Stadium with live music, food, and so much more. You can also snap some pics with the NWSL players and the championship trophy. You don't want to miss out on that. So much excitement, so much to do around the city. I know that there will also be some pop-up events and some bars that will be playing the championship game as well. So you really have so many different options on what you want to tune into, but I do want to show you this as well because we will have coverage all day long today. And as we look ahead to tomorrow, Bill Hurlbrink and Carolina Cruz will be live from CPKC Stadium for your news at noon. So we are about 2 hours away officially, and then Carolyn Long will take over from there during our evening newscast, and it all leads up to our championship special that gets underway at around 6:30 this evening, where we'll hear an exclusive one-on-one interview with the league's commissioner. But right now, I want to draw your attention to this live shot coming in from CPKC Stadium. You see that now here on your screen as press conferences are of course underway. First up, Grammy award-winning artist Melissa Etheridge. She is set to sing the national anthem at the 2024 NWSL Championship match tomorrow at 7 p.m. Of course, we all know and love Melissa, so we are just waiting for her to take the podium. I know she spoke to the CBS Morning team earlier today talking about how she is preparing to sing the national anthem. She's done it many times before, but it's cold outside, and, you know, this is where she's from, so she's really excited, and she's such a huge advocate for women's sports, so she's excited to sing inside of CPKC Stadium. All week long, we have kept a close eye on tickets. If you want to go to the game, maybe some plans canceled for you and you have some free time tomorrow at 7 p.m. That's when kickoff is set. I do want to direct your attention as we continue to wait for that press conference to get underway, showing you the Ticket Smarter website. I spoke to Jeff Goodman earlier this week, taking a look at prices and what he expects looking ahead to Saturday. And the other day, he was encouraging all of our viewers to get on the tickets because he does expect them to the prices to increase tomorrow morning. This is the lowest we have seen all week long. Now, earlier this week, it was around $50 people were paying to get into this championship match. You can see now the lowest price now sits at $37, and there are only 77 tickets remaining. So if you don't have any plans tomorrow and you want to see this historic match taking place right here in our city, you definitely want to get on these tickets. Shopping around for the best price. I know that he also touched on the fact that these are resale tickets. So you definitely want to make sure you go through a reputable website to get those tickets, because scammers are looking to take advantage of people, unfortunately, like always, when big events like this happen. So again, a lot to be excited about today. Getting on those tickets. We have the CBS news crew that's in Kansas City right now. We have our news crew, our local news crew, that's also at CPKC Stadium, and really our coverage is just getting started. I kind of want to give you a breakdown of what you can expect throughout the day today. So we know Melissa Etheridge, she will have her press conference here in a bit, set to get underway at 10. So we're just 2 minutes late, but we know that Melissa will be there shortly. She will be singing the national anthem at CPKC Stadium tomorrow. And then also we have at 11 a.m. the commissioner, that press conference is set to get underway. And then we have another one. It's going to be back-to-back, very, very busy, but we have you covered here at KCTV5. So at 12 p.m., right when our noon newscast gets started, the Washington Spirit will take the podium, addressing the media ahead of the big match tomorrow. And then right after that team, we have the Orlando Pride, of course. So we will be covering all of that on our social media platforms, as well as during our newscast. And if you missed it, you can definitely tune in to our evening newscast, where we will have a recap. So I've already mentioned it. In this press conference right now, we do have Carolina Cruz and Bill Hurlbrink, who will sit in and watch Melissa Etheridge, but we also have Marlia Campbell, who is with our sports team, and then Carolyn Long will join our coverage a little bit later on this evening. So again, it is all getting started. I do want to direct you to our website as we continue to wait for Melissa to take the podium. Taking a look at our website, kctv5.com, currently we do have a live blog that you can go and read all about. We will continue to post on this live blog throughout the day today and tomorrow as excitement continues to build. I'm keeping a close eye on this press conference so that we can get Melissa walking in, and it looks like they are getting ready to get things started. So we are going to tune in here shortly. But again, still just looking at this live blog on our website, kctv5.com. You can see Mayor Quentin Lucas was out there early this morning. If you were watching our morning show, he actually joined Carolina Cruz talking about the excitement and the economic benefits it will bring to our city. And here is Melissa Etheridge. Let's take a listen in.
All right, welcome in everybody, and welcome to 2024 NWSL Championship Weekend. We are very excited to have you here. And we are very excited to be joined today by award-winning singer and activist Melissa Etheridge.
Hello, thank you, welcome. I'm so happy you're all here. If you don't know, I am a native of Kansas, actually, Leavenworth, Kansas, just right over the river. But spent a very important part of my life when I was 20 years old, living in Kansas City, singing at a local hotel. So that's why I'm here and why I'm so incredibly proud of my city and how it has embraced women's sports and built a stadium and is investing in women and women's sports. So I am eager for all of your questions. I've had enough caffeine. I can definitely talk a lot to you. So just hold up your hand and I'll point at you, or he'll point at you. Who points?
All right, we'll get started. I'll be happy to point for you.
Okay, you point.
Well, first off, start with questions in the room. Over there. We're going to bring a microphone to you so we
Fantastic. I have rock and roll ears.
So I heard that Andy Reid is a big fan of yours. Have you had any chances to like talk to him or anything like that?
Who again said?
Andy Reid. Yeah.
Oh, Andy. Oh no. You know, he's very busy right now, and but every time I do come in for the Kansas City games, he's always amazing, and he's probably one of the best huggers I've ever. Every time I sing the national anthem and I step off, he gives me a hug. So he's just done so much for Kansas City. So much for Kansas City sports in general.
Okay, I'm sorry. Catherine.
Hi, Melissa. What was your first reaction just walking into this stadium and being able to kind of tour it and see what they've built here?
So much pride and joy for my home city. You know, so much, actually just driving around the city. I come back I live in California. I come back probably once a year. You know, I usually play here in Kansas City somewhere, and just seeing it grow and feeling the excitement that's here for women's sports, feeling that excitement and walking into the stadium knowing it was built for a professional women's team is it's such a dream come true. I remember, and I'm going to drop names here, I'm sorry, but sitting in 1993 at dinner with Billie Jean King and Martina Navratilova and the dreams they had for women's sports, and seeing it come true. I texted her this morning and said, it's that dream come true.
We had a question on the side here.
Hi, Melissa. When did women's soccer first really come into your life?
Well, I grew up in Leavenworth, and we did not have women's soccer. We barely had women's basketball in our high school. I did not know of soccer. I was not raised of it. We did, next to Leavenworth is Fort Leavenworth, and I would see them sometimes play this funny game, you know, out there, because the international kids would come in and they would know and they would play, and my father would explain it's called football, but it's not really football, it's soccer, and you know, it wasn't until the Olympics, it wasn't really probably until Mia Hamm and Brandy Chastain were doing their thing that I went, oh, this is. It took a while to understand the game and how the time doesn't stop, and even when it's over, it's not really over, and all those things you have to kind of get used to. And now I know, and now I can watch it with every moment, very excited about what's happening on the field.
All right, thanks. We're going to come to Jenna in the front.
Hi, Melissa.
Hi.
So I'm not from the area, but one of the things that really struck me is that when you come here, you're immediately greeted with everything Kansas City current. You see it in the airport, the streetcar, you see the stadium from the main road. So how is it for you, someone from this area, to see it's not just, okay, they built these facilities, but it's a visible, feeling in the city that this team is here?
Well, when I grew up, my father, it's the reason he got the job in Leavenworth and moved there, he's a high school teacher and a coach. And he coached basketball and football. And back then, we had the Royals, and who really started going in the 80s. And you felt kind of of a pride. And then the Chiefs, well, that didn't happen for a really long time. But always that desire to support them. And then when Andy Reid came, I saw a huge change in my town in early 2010s, 2013 when he joined. The support, and during that time in 2015, then the Royals win the World Series, and seeing pictures of 500,000 people all down by Union Station, seeing the revitalization of that area of Union Station, seeing restaurants and food come in, and then as the Chiefs started rolling, and then you'd see red and all this around, then, look, we're going to support women's team. We're going to support this women's soccer team. And of course we're going to embrace it. I always tell people as I travel the world that Kansas, kind of misunderstood, but a very special place, because I grew up with diversity. We had one high school, black, white, rich, poor, all of us right there, and getting along and together. And I see Kansas City as that city. And the diversity and the support of women have always, it's sort of a Midwestern thing. It's you work hard, you play hard, and you're just nice. That's just the rules. And I see that in the town, and when I flew in yesterday, and I was like, that's right, we are supporting that. It's just a great sense of pride, and I'm not surprised.
All right, thanks, Jenna. We're going to go to Dan.
Sing the national anthem. Try to different way, Steve.
I have a deep belief that you don't mess with the national anthem. You know, it's just trouble. And it's the sort of thing that can sink your career if you don't do it correctly. I have a great respect for the song. It's a very difficult song to sing. I just sing it a cappella. The only thing I have to really worry about is to start low enough, or the Rocket's red glare is going to tear you up. So it's just sung from the heart, and you sing it straight, so if people want to sing along, they can. And then at the very end, the land of the free and the home of the brave, you put a little bit of a bluesy thing on it to make it your own. That's my recipe for the national anthem.
All right, thanks, Dan. Theo?
Hi, Melissa.
Hi.
Hello again.
Yes.
I wanted to ask you if any soccer players have reached out to you, or you've bumped into them over the years, and kind of talked to you about your music. Like, has that been a way you've connected with soccer players, past or present?
There's a camaraderie among professional women in general, whether it's sports, entertainment, politics. All of us who have grown up knowing and feeling we can do anything, who have had amazing fathers who have helped us, and amazing strong mothers. I grew up in a family where my mother made more money than my father, and it was fine. Didn't seem unusual to me. So when I meet professional women now, was talking with Megan Rapinoe and Sue Bird, and we sort of laughed at how, you know, when we were young and out there being the first women, you know, to do it and do it well and successfully, you know, the places we had to play in, me, you know, entertaining them, you know, that, and then to see something like this where we don't get to experience it in our 20s or 30s, or while we were, you know, doing that, but to know that the work that we put in really makes a difference. And so now you meet these youngsters, and of course I usually just get, wow, my mom's a real big fan of yours, and I've started to get, wow, my grandma's a real fan of yours. So, you know, you just have to roll with that. But I take that in, and it is a great sense of pride.
All right, thanks. We're going to go with Steph right in front of you, and then we're going to go to John Lupo in the chat after Steph.
Good morning, Melissa. In the past, you've spoken about your songwriting process and how you're a voracious reader. You connect with a lot of authors, poets. You mentioned Pablo Neruda in there. I'm just wondering if sports also touches, you know, that emotional place you seem to be seeking when you're, you know, writing songs.
That's funny. I'm actually in my writing period right now. I'm writing for an album to be made next year, and it's about inspiration. And when I do see something like this, it's very inspirational. I mean, I would not be surprised if, you know, what comes out of this is a song about strength, is a song about women and the power, and, you know, coming together and what we can do and that sort of thing, because that's where I try to come from every time I write, is inspiration, is whether it's something I'm looking at, thinking, a way that someone says something, a phrase, a rhythm, you know, whatever it might be, but it's got that kind of spark of inspiration that can then start the wheels turning, and this is very inspirational.
All right, thanks, Steph. Up next is John Lupo on the Zoom.
Good morning, Melissa.
Good morning, John.
With the growth of women's sports we've seen in recent years, and with the investment that Kansas City in particular has made to the current, just talk about, with all of your accomplishments, what it means to be singing the national anthem so close to where you're from, and where this sort of ranks in your career with everything that you have done.
Thank you. I have incredible memories of when I would go with my father to his basketball games as a child, and they would always have the singer get up and sing the national anthem. And I do remember saying, someday I'm going to sing the anthem, and, you know, thinking, well, and it's a great honor. And not everyone can do it. Not everyone can get up there and sing that song without anything. And so that's where I learned you just sing it. But the memories that flood back, the times of playing at the Granada Royale Hotel, in the La Veranda Lounge, you know, down outside of, you know, the Country Club Plaza, and thinking, you know, someday I'll come back and, you know, this will be different. That I think it's important as a successful, as a woman. I don't want to say I'm not old. I'm just mature, maybe, and to stop and go, wow, you did it. Look, and try to tell my 20-year-old self, yeah, you did it. Well done.
All right, thanks, Sean. Next, we're going to go to Patty LaBella on the Zoom.
Hi, Melissa.
Hi.
Thank you for taking our questions. Growing up in Leavenworth, at a time when women's sports wasn't a thing, like you said, how different do you think that your life would have been had you had a pro women's team like the Current growing up?
Oh, a pro women's sports team would have helped me understand how I felt myself. I remember I had one day where we got to play powder puff football, and I got to be the quarterback, and it was kind of a dream come true just for those few hours that I got to do that. And the power you feel and the excitement about your own body and your own mind and your strategy is, I mean, it's been helping young boys for years, for decades, centuries, I might say. And knowing now that young girls who are made for that, we certainly aren't all, but the ones that are, the ones that can, to have that dream to see a professional women's team lift a trophy up is, I mean, it makes you better at whatever you end up doing, whether it's business, relations with people, just your own feeling about yourself. That's what I see.
All right, thanks, Patty. Do we have any more questions in the room? Kevin? And then this will be the last question as we get ready to go observe training.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Melissa, I know you and Linda talked on one of your recent chats about the Kansas City Current, how much you love Temo Chawinga, especially the name.
Yes.
But what were kind of the highlights of watching the Current kind of grow this year?
I have seen, I was so excited when they first became a few years ago, and to see the investment, which I think is so important. You see that in the Washington spirit. It's absolutely the investment, the players that they have brought in, Rodman and Aubrey. I'm horrible with names, but when I saw them, you know, go to the ends of the earth and bring the best players here to Kansas City, and Chawinga, okay. When I first saw her play, it's like, it takes your breath away. And you know when you have a player like that, you have a Patrick Mahomes, you know, you have that. She's going to play for years here, and I have not seen it live yet, but you could even tell on television that the minute she gets the ball, you lean in and you go, oh my gosh, this might happen, you know. And each team has their star. I'm partial. She's a superstar, and this just being her first year, when she did the the left, and she kicked that ball in, it was like, oh, that's someone who not only is genius at what she plays, but she's loving it, which makes her even more genius. You know, that's what makes a genius. So, super exciting to see that. I plan for the Current to actually be in the finals next year. So that's my goal, okay? We almost were there.
All right. Well, thank you very
Thank you all
much.
so much.
And thank you all for coming to join us. Thank you very much, Melissa, for spending
pleasure.
some time with us. Of course, she will be singing the national anthem tomorrow at the game. And so we will let her go now.
Thank you.
Okay, so as you just heard there, that was Grammy Award winning Melissa Etheridge. She will be singing the national anthem at the NWSL Championship game tomorrow, right here on KCTV5 at 7 p.m. She had some powerful words there at the end. She gave Chewinga a shout out, calling her a superstar, and just how every time she gets the ball, she's on the edge of her seat, just watching her, waiting to see what will happen next. And that shout out actually comes as we turn to the social media platform X, as the NWSL just announced that Chewinga is now the MVP. So such a huge accomplishment once again, and an exciting way to end the KC Current season. And as we prepare, the stadium prepares to host the NWSL Championship game later on tomorrow night. I also want to touch on the fact that Melissa Etheridge, she also said that the stadium is just a dream come true, and she kind of spoke to what it could mean for future generations, whether they're soccer players or just other female sports players that will look up to these athletes, that will look up to this stadium and say that they have a future here in Kansas City. So very touching words coming in from Melissa Etheridge. As I've touched on before, she's a huge advocate of women's sports. I want to show you all this once again as we look ahead to the 11 o'clock hour. We do have some more press conferences coming up here in a bit. We will have our coverage all day long. Again, Bill Hurlbrink and Carolina Cruz will be live from CPKC Stadium for your news at noon, and then Carolyn Long will take over from there during our evening newscast, and it all leads up to our championship special taking place, as you can see here on your screen, at 6:30 this evening, where we will actually have an exclusive one-on-one interview with the league's commissioner, and the league's commissioner will hold a press conference coming up at 11. So we'll be back here shortly.